Hi, I'm Kanaye Tesoro, and this is my video submission for Module 4 in COMM 2100 Professional Communication. This is my business idea pitch, which is the Court Store Media Network, which of course leads you to ask what exactly the Court Store Media Network is. Essentially, this is an expansion upon the prior freelance work that I've done. It's going to serve as a full service for fans, players, and college basketball programs around the country. It's not just a podcast. As of course, if you followed up with my submissions in the past modules, you know that I've done a college basketball podcast for close to 2 years now. And again, this is an expansion upon that. It's a college basketball insights and media studio, which leads me into some of the problems in the market right now and what exactly is missing in college basketball media that I feel the Court Store Media Network can address. For one, the national media in the landscape of college basketball overwhelmingly only covers the same 15 to 25 teams, the blue bloods, your UConns, your Dukes, your North Carolinas. There's very little coverage that the thousands of smaller mid-major programs and schools receive analysis and coverage on. A lot of these schools are pictured on the map that I've provided on this slide. Now, mid-majors and smaller programs, they want more exposure. This aids their recruiting through both getting high school recruits and recruits out of the transfer portal. And with the introduction of NIL, this is also going to help with that and being able to get the money and get the notoriety needed to attract players from both high school and the transfer portal. On top of this is going to help with the fandom behind these schools, getting a lot of energy and attention around some of these smaller school basketball programs is going to, of course, help with donors from alumni to the students at the school, just getting some energy. And that's something that a lot of these smaller schools need, as they tend to have a tough time attracting large crowds at their basketball games. On top of this, the athletes want to be visible. They want to be noticed. They want coverage. They want interviews. And this is something that's going to help them jump up a level from whether it's going from a small school to the Power 5 level, playing in a major conference, or jumping up and playing at the professional ranks, whether it's the NBA, the G League, or overseas. So what will this service offer? Of course, the podcast, which I have been doing up to this point, serves as the flagship product of the service. My coverage of college basketball is going to be the main calling card of what the Court Store Media Network service provides. On top of this, I'm also going to create written scouting reports coaches of different programs can purchase. On top of this, there's going to be a storytelling factor, which ties into both the podcast and the media packages for programs and players, which we'll talk about in just a second. On top of the storytelling, written scouting reports, there's also going to be a weekly newsletter that I put out for the college basketball sickos that eat, sleep, breathe college basketball. They get as much coverage as they want. There's going to be paid newsletter tiers, which they're going to be able to decide upon. And there will also be video breakdowns and analysis on the podcast as well. Now, the media packages for programs and players, this is something that ties once again back to getting more attention on some of the smaller programs, college basketball programs around the country, some of the lesser known players who are excelling and do deserve the coverage and attention that they might not be getting right now. Of course, this kind of leads into what the target market is, being that the media packages will be catered towards these programs and players. That's going to be a major consumer base for what the target market is for the Court Store Media Network. On top of this, it's going to be your avid college basketball fans that, again, die by college basketball and love it. And then other consumers that will be part of the Court Storm's target market will be other podcasts and websites that want segment contributors. I can step in and be someone who contributes to a segment, could step in as a guest appearance to provide some of the insight and analysis I can bring to the table. Now, as for the business model for the Court Store Media Network, the number one money-making aspect is going to come from podcast ad revenue and the sponsorships that back the podcast. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, programs, smaller schools, coaches, they're all going to be able to purchase these scouting reports. They're going to be tailored to whatever upcoming matchup they might have against an opposing team, whether it's the team overall, the player, the statistical analysis that goes into scouting a team. That'll all be provided for them. Like I mentioned earlier as well, there's also going to be paid newsletter tiers, bronze, silver, gold. The higher the tier, the more you pay, but the more coverage you get weekly. Then, like again, guest analysis on other shows backed by the custom media packages, which we tailor to both programs and athletes. Now, in terms of how the Court Store Media Network reflects me, it of course displays my personal interest of being a lifelong college basketball fan and someone who already has experience covering the sport weekly and following a consistent uploading schedule with editing experience, publishing experience, and knowing what it means to connect with an audience and tailor your content to your audience's desires and needs. Um, I think it will showcase my passion for storytelling, which I definitely feel is a driving factor in the podcast that I've done for 2 years now and will continue to drive it in a scenario where this Court Store Media Network becomes a real thing. And of course, I think it provides a great opportunity to build a lot of strong relationships between the programs we work with, coaches, players, other brands that might be looking to sponsor the Court Store Media Network. On top of this, I just think that connecting with fans is something that's really, really important and cool to be. It's important to the success of a company, one. And then two, I think it's just something that's really cool to be able to connect with your audience on something that you all thoroughly enjoy. So that pretty much takes care of my business pitch for the Court Store Media Network. I'd like to thank you for watching.